So that's why I always say to my students that you should be always confident, because you are learning second language. You are far far better than those who are able to speak just only English because they were born and raised in America or London. So you are far far better than them living in India, speaking English and talking to people internationally. That's a great achievement, right? So that's why I always try to make them just believe in themselves, that you are really nice and you can make it happen. And absolutely, like, suppose, like, if I'm talking to someone from another country, or maybe I'm talking to you at this moment, but you don't understand Hindi very well. So it is compulsory for me to make you understand it in English, because if I'm talking to somebody from North India, absolutely, to share my emotions, I would speak Hindi, because that is really good to express your thoughts in first language. And I don't feel like, even though after 20 years, I'm going to get that feeling in English, because sometimes some emotions are like always good to express in your first language.
Well, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking. So, how's your morning so far?
I think it's going pretty good. It's pretty humid today in here. So I come from Kerala, which is a very humid state. So yeah, it can get pretty hot in the summer, and even when it's sunny in general, it can get pretty hot. So yeah, weather-wise not that good, but yeah, mood-wise it's good. How are things
Yeah,
over there?
that's great to hear. Yeah,
Yeah.
for as you can see, the hoodie I'm just putting on. So it's winter here, but not that cold. Still waiting for that. It's the mid November, but in the last December, January, beginning of the Jan, it becomes freezing cold here. So, but
Right,
it's cold
right.
for us, like 13 degrees centigrade or something like that. It was there in the morning yesterday.
Right, right, right. So, what do you want to do today, Ashutosh? What should we discuss? What is it that
Yeah.
your viewers would like to
So
know?
first of all, we can start with introductions, as I'm meeting with you for the first time. So I'm really excited to know about you. At the same time, I
Okay.
want to tell about myself as well.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah,
why don't you go ahead first then? Yeah.
why not? So my name is Ashutosh Dwivedi, as you can see on screen, and I hail from Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. About my education, I completed my master's degree, that is Masters of Arts in English Literature. Apart from this, I am a spoken English trainer by profession. I help my students to speak English privately. At the same time, I'm a YouTuber too. I run a YouTube channel where I put conversations. I have uploaded more than 500 videos over there. So that's what I do. And at the same time, I want to attend sessions with the trainers or the professionals to improve my English. So that's what I do. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty impressive actually, Ashutosh. I like how you do multitasking. Like you are teaching and parallelly you're running a channel, so it can get pretty hectic, right? If I'm not wrong.
Sometimes, yes, you're
Yeah.
absolutely
So
right.
yeah.
My evenings are always jam-packed, occupied with all these sessions, which I conduct for professionals mainly. I conduct one-on-one sessions these days. So I conduct a few sessions for them. And in the afternoons, or I just, do for the YouTube editing or the sessions like that. Or the mornings are just generally occupied with my actually, normal activities or
Right,
day-to-day
right.
activities. But today I wanted to have a session with you, and you're not available in the evenings, so that's why I booked a session today.
Right, yeah. So over here too, I am kind of in the middle of multitasking as well. So my name, as you can see, it's Saleena Joy, and I'm from Kerala. And
Mhm.
I am a part-time student and a tutor. So
Mhm.
my schedule is also pretty hectic, which is why during the evenings I cannot take sessions with you guys. So that's one of the reasons why I have to do it in the forenoon. And yeah, that's pretty much it about me. I like to see myself as somebody who likes speaking, meeting new people, but at the same time, learn something from everyone along the way. Because I believe,
Mhm.
Ashutosh, that learning a language is not something that you put a stop to. You don't end it at any point. It's something
Mhm.
that you carry throughout your whole life, because you never know. Because there's always scope for more to learn from. And yep, that's one of the reasons why this is
Yeah, and
one of
second
the
thing, this is not our first language. So always we need
true,
to put
true.
conscious
Yeah.
efforts to become better at it, right?
Absolutely, yes. So you were saying, right, that you take one-on-one sessions with people. So why
Mhm.
don't you tell me, Ashutosh, what is it that you see that perhaps an Indian in particular they struggle with when they're trying to learn the language for the first time? Because, like you said, we're not native speakers, right? So there are a lot of difference in which we pronounce certain words, we pick up on certain words, because our native languages, we just speak them as it's written. I don't think that rule is applicable for English, right? So how is it for you?
So I was about to give answer of that question as I deal with a lot of professionals. So what I realized, most of them are very good with their language, I would say, but they don't have that self belief. They're not able to believe in themselves that they would be able to make it happen. And actually, as I train people who are in their 40s and 50s, so many of them come from the states like Bihar, Rajasthan, or the UP, or even though South India. But at that time, spoken English was not that prominent, and they didn't understand the value of it. Now it's like everything, like if you don't know English, you can't even work in India. What to think about abroad, right? So that is that. So that is the first thing. They didn't get the language in that way. They were only learning the language for the sake of writing the exams. The same I did. So first of all, I want to just give them just I want to support them that you can do it. You can make it happen. If I was able to do it, the same way you can do it. And second thing is they didn't hear the language a lot. So as you talked about the pronunciation, when you don't hear the language or when you don't listen to the language, for sure you are going to make mistakes with the pronunciation because you're not aware of the right way of pronouncing words. And English is not that simple. The way it is written, the way it is spoken, these are two different things, like North Pole and the South Pole, I would say. So it's not like Hindi or Bengali, Tamil, Kannada, or just Malayalam, whatever the language is. Maybe like many languages, if I talk about Hindi, the way it is written, the way it is spoken, right? Sanskrit, a very good language, the mother of the languages, the way it is written, the way it is spoken. But English is completely different. And a lot of words are there, just they have taken from other languages. So that is very difficult to identify that how to pronounce each and every word correctly until or unless you listen to the original speakers of the language for a very long time. Okay, so that is there. So I recommend them to listen to the language as much as they can. At the same time, as they are professionals, they lack consistency. They don't get time every day to make it happen. What they feel like, okay, I can do practice for 30 minutes, 40 minutes on weekends, but I can't make it happen on every day. So what I do for them, just I try my level best to make them happen, right? Because I sit in front of them for 30 minutes, 40 minutes every day, and they are compelled to speak anything, at least whatever they speak. I don't care about it. If they talk about their family, if they talk about their personal things, it's fine, but you're speaking, you have to speak in English. So that's what it is. Like, first I would say that I told you the what I talked about, that they didn't have the privilege to learn the language in a way like kids are doing nowadays. First, second, consistency, they just they are not consistent enough. And third, they didn't hear the language just well. So all these problems they face, and I'm trying to make it happen. I send them content here and there, whatever I watch, I share those videos with them on WhatsApp so they can watch it. So that's how it works.
I completely agree. I couldn't agree more, Ashutosh, because I feel like the thing with us as non-native speakers is we try to learn it through theory alone. We just read the
Hmm.
words, we try to by heart how the grammar is being used, but until and unless you don't speak it out, like you said, until and unless you don't
Hmm.
engage in conversation, until and unless you don't familiarize yourself with the way native speakers do it, we cannot learn the language. And I think that's one of the reasons why you stress so much on people speaking the language rather than writing the language.
Hmm.
And that's an excellent exercise as well. We talk about mirror exercises, right? Or we talk about people trying to mimic the way you see TV stars, the way they acted out, right, in movies and series and all. So you try to get them to mimic that as well. So these are some of the things that actually helps. So I completely agree with you, because when it comes to English, I feel like it's a language that cannot be defined by just one genealogy, or one, it cannot be traced back to this one original language, because it has been borrowed from a lot of languages. Ironically, it has been borrowed from Sanskrit as well. There are a lot of English words that have been borrowed from Indian language as well. For example, you look at words like shampoo, or you look at bazaar. So these
Hmm.
are words that we retain in the language, but so it's a collection of German, then Latin, definitely. So there's a lot of roots into this language. So that's one of the reasons why I believe that it's quite hard for people who are completely new to the language to try and get acquainted with it. But don't you agree that the thing that we do is we learn it and then we keep it aside? We don't use it. It's like you learn it, okay, you keep it aside only when the situation comes, you use it. But I don't think that's gonna work, right? You would agree as well. Because you have to consistently speak and yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
That's why I try just attending sessions with a professional because, moreover, it's all about just speaking. At the same time, you improve yourself as a speaker, like non-verbal communication skills. Like you improve how to speak, how to sit in front of camera, how to present yourself. That is very important because even though you are a good speaker, but if you don't go on a stage, you're not going to be a wonderful public speaker or the stage speaker because you have to go there again and again to improve your skills, to maintain your skills, whatever you have. So, but it happens with the most of the people. What they think, they would learn English for 3 months and then they would keep it aside and they don't want to think about it. But it is not something which you have to keep aside. You have to have the just, some words or the lectures on your table all the time. So you can consume the content and you can learn it every day because we are not living in England, we are not living in America, we are in India. So whenever you go out, either you listen Tamil, Hindi, Bengali, all those languages. Nobody speaks English to you, so you are the only one that you have to compel yourself to be in touch with the language, right?
True, true. And I think it's beautiful as well if you can bring in a balance between your native culture and your native language and the English as well. Because there are some things that I believe that we cannot express through English because, again, it's not our first language, right? It's not the first language that
Hmm.
we learn. So, always when we talk about emotions, when we talk about our feelings or things that we talk deeply about, I think that's expressed best in our native language. But at the same time, English is such a beautiful language to get acquainted with, and you can still find a way to express the said emotions as long as you manage to do it right. So I believe that it can help if people don't approach the language with hostility, but rather see it as a companion that you have to carry throughout your whole life, right? Because we live in a world where it has evolved into a global language. We function through English. You take technology, everything's written in English, everything is spoken through English. You look at the professional space and the professional environment. English is a must. I think that's one of the reasons why you have a lot of people who are pretty middle aged, right, as your students, because the situation that was perhaps 20 years ago is not the same as it was right now. I mean, it is right now. So, right?
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more with you. It is very, very important to have the touch of your language as well. I mean to say it is not. So that's why I always say to my students that you should be always confident because you are learning second language and you are far better than those who are able to speak just only English because they were born and raised in America or London. So you are far better than them living in India, speaking English and talking to people internationally. That's a great achievement, right? So that's why I always try to make them just believe in themselves that you are really nice and you can make it happen. And absolutely, like, suppose, like, if I'm talking to someone from another country, or maybe I'm talking to you at this moment, but you don't understand Hindi very well. So it is compulsory for me to make you understand it in English because if I'm talking to somebody from North India, absolutely to share my emotions, I would speak Hindi because that is really good to express your thoughts in first language. And I don't feel like, even though after 20 years, I'm going to get that feeling in English because sometimes some emotions are like always good to express in your first language.
I completely agree. And like you said, I think that the fact that you can learn multiple languages and you can express yourself, and that's a big achievement. I feel like with learners, what happens is the first time they make a mistake, they are quite instantly putting themselves down. They are self-deprecating, right? Because they get the feeling that, okay, this is not amounting to something in the long run. And we always chase quick results. We don't wait patiently enough. I've seen learners say, okay, it's been a couple of months, I'm still not getting a lot of progress. I think that the patience, the consistency, and like you said, the confidence in boldly making mistakes and keeping a note of it, right? All of these, I think learning any language or any skill for that matter is a collection, or it's something that consists of all of these things, right?
Mm. They start expecting the same thing like their first language in 3 months, which is really absolutely impossible, I would say. I have been learning English, or I can say I am a just, consistent learner of my first language, Hindi. I have been listening to people for the more than 25 years, right? But how can I get the same level of English in 3 months or 6 months or 1 year? That's like Yeah, just we shouldn't think about it. You should always think like the you can improve every day, make it as a habit, try to listen, try to read, try to write, try to engage with the language as much as you can. Yeah. And then you evolve as a speaker.
Yes, totally. And even when we look at our native languages, right, Ashutosh, we
Hmm.
might not even be fluent in that as well. So, and that is something
Hmm.
that we've been speaking since birth, right? So, I don't think language fluency has a full stop or an end to it. It's something that you carry throughout your whole lives. And what I've noticed quite interestingly, this has happened with me as well, is that once you start speaking in English a lot more than your native language, when you switch back to your native language, you start to fumble with words. Have you experienced that?
Yeah.
It's like all of
Yes,
a sudden
exactly. You
you
are
don't know what
absolutely
to say.
right. And
And it's a
sometimes you feel
cultural
more
glitch.
comfortable sharing things in English rather than sharing in Malayalam or Hindi. You would say, it's okay, I can do that in English because you have been doing it for very long.
Yeah,
So,
true, true.
and public speaking skills are completely different from the speaking the language in your home, right? You are
True.
informal, talking to your parents. But when you go on a stage and you have to speak Malayalam, oh my goodness, again, you would feel blank that I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, I don't think I can pull that off either because traditional Malayalam is pretty tough to crack, I would say. Even when we speak, right, there are certain words I would say that we do not have Malayalam words for. For example, you look at
Hmm.
words associated with technology like phones or bus or cars. These are words that
Hmm.
you don't
Hmm.
have substitutes in your native language. So you have to put some amount of English. It's inevitable because we live in a world where English is tied to everything that we do, right? So, but I think that is beautiful if you can balance both, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, so nowadays it's as it is difficult like English, the same for us like Malayalam or Hindi is that more difficult, I would say. Some words are there we don't even know. Like as a youngsters, like if we would talk to our grandpa or grandmother, they would say some words and I would say like I have never heard it. What does it mean?
True,
So
true. Yeah, it
so
happens.
that
It
is
happens.
there.
And you get this cultural glitches so you're like, okay, why can't I speak like I used? I think it comes with that frequency. This is something that's quite normal, I would say. But at the
Yeah.
same time, to learn, I think we live in a country which is fortunate enough to be blessed with a lot of languages. So there's always scope to learn more, to learn about new cultures. But at the same time, I think that, like you said, English is mandatory because, like, if you take the example of you and I, we talk through a common language, which is not our native language, right? So
Hmm.
English does have its perks. So I would say, continue the journey throughout your whole life. Don't put a stop to it. And like you said, speak whatever it is with confidence because ultimately language is just for communication, right? The grammar, the vocabulary, all of these come secondary. It's for perfecting it.
Mhm.
But the basic purpose of any language is to communicate. And as long as you are able to do it right, you're already winning, I would say. Won't you agree?
Absolutely, that is right. Moreover, you need to focus on confidence and fluency, and gradually you will get all these things. You don't have to go very deep or into technicalities of the language. And always, like if you made one grammar mistake, you are going to get the death punishment. No, not really. Like be okay. Just enjoy the language, enjoy the journey of becoming a good speaker. So,
Right, right. So this was, I think we shared a lot of deep insights today, right? We talked a lot
mhm.
about the language. We talked about how it can be used without approaching it in the traditional sense. So yeah, thank you for this session, Ashutosh. I learned a
Yeah,
lot from
my
you as
pleasure.
well. So yeah,
Yeah, my pleasure. I like meeting new people, so I'm
yeah,
really happy that I was able to just have a session with you. And thank you so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
even
you
thanks
too.
to you for
Hopefully,
your
we'll
time.
see each other
Bye
again soon.
bye. Take care.
Bye, bye, bye.